What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the episode 2 for the Go for Beginners series that I'm making. The response from the video was awesome, so thanks for letting me know there is a demand for this type of content for beginners. So I want to welcome all the new subscriber to the channel, and if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can get more content like this from me. I upload regularly, so anyway, let's go ahead and get into episode 2 for Go for Beginners. So if you haven't seen episode 1, I do recommend you going back and watch that one first because we are building up from those episodes. So we're gonna start from the beginning, from the ground up. Okay, so sorry I had to step away for a second there. So today we're gonna talk about some uh, hand-to-hand combat per se. So I want to go over a couple of basic way to deal with people invading your corner or touching your stones, because fighting is a big thing in Go, and it can be pretty daunting to start to know where to start to learn how to fight or defend your stone. So today we're gonna start off with the 3-4 stone. Um, so I show you guys some corner opening last episode, and one of the stone was a 3-4 like this, and then one was a 4-4 like this, and then you can have a 3-3 like this, and then you can also have something crazy like a 5-4, something like that. Okay, so let's say we have this opening, and now let's go back. Let's say if black were to play a knight move from his 3-3, let's say that, okay? And so white comes in. So now white, because at this level, you can really expect anything to be played. So I'm going to try to go over all the scenario for what to do with your 3-4 stone. So we're going to be focused on the 3-4 today, okay? So I do recommend beginners to play the 3-4 in the corner because it's the easiest to defend, and it's also the easiest to resolve any type of approaches or touches or something like that. So let's just say white, if white approaches with a hit like this, what do you do in that case? Well, in this case, if somebody approached this close to your corner, you have a few options. You can go here and give up the corner and take the outside. If you had another stone here, maybe you want to do that. But in this case, I would say go ahead and play here and make your stone into a group and start strengthening it, and at the same time taking the corner. And so if white does something like this, then you keep going, and then now your corner's pretty solid, and you have plenty of ice space. If Hihani is underneath, you can always do this. He connects, and then right here you could play this to be totally alive, but you don't have to. If white hanes, if let's say you play a jump like this to expand more into the center, if white plays something like this, you can always play like that, or just simply connect up, or to be safe, do a tiger mouth. Okay, so that's why you can ignore this play here and play somewhere else. So, but you could play this too, and then this will really make the black group alive. So that's how you deal with when white plays here. If white plays anywhere on the outside, that would be just silly. Let's say if white plays a shoulder hit like this. So a shoulder hit is when you have a stone on the 3 line or the 4th line, doesn't matter which line, and then they play on top of you, but one stone away like this. This is called a shoulder hit. So it's kind of like hitting you in the shoulder, you know what I mean? A better way to illustrate would be this formation. So you have a formation here. So if white play like this, this would be considered a shoulder hit on this framework, on this stone. So that's just the terminology that you guys should start picking up. So this would be a shoulder hit, and as black, you would welcome this move because we would just start taking the corner territory here. So if white keep allowing us to go, then we would just happily crawl on the 4th line and take points. Every time we crawl, we take 3 extra points. So we're happy about that, right? So now we've taken that option and that option up. What about this attachment here? When white bumps into black like this, it's best scenario. Usually at this level, I want you guys to play really solid and just add a stone to your stone and make it a group of 2 stones. This is really solid, and then if white continues, then we have the same combination as before. Just go ahead and take the corner, okay? You don't want to, you could hane something like this, but it really, there's no reason to. It's best to play solid when you're starting out because it's easier to use your strength to attack, and it's also easier to stay alive. And that's the key when you start playing Go, is trying to keep your group alive and solid. Play really thick and really powerful move. So if white attach, we do that, right? If white hanes underneath like this is a hane move. So it's, you don't want to cut because that's going to get captured, okay? And then you can't run. So you don't want to cut white. So white could hane underneath. So what we do is we would respond with a block here, and then white would have to protect his stone, right? If white doesn't do it, we will capture this stone. So this stone has no place to go. So you really see, because of this 2 stone that's so strong, you can hane. And then when white protects, is you could jump here, but the shape is a little loose. I would say at your level, at the beginning level, it's good to go ahead and finish the shape off with a tiger mouth like this. This is a tiger mouth, by the way. This shape is called a tiger mouth. So it's 3 stone pinned together. It's pretty much connected because white cannot go in here. If white go in here, you simply just capture. So that's why it's like called the tiger mouth, because it's like putting your face into a tiger's mouth. It's gonna get bitten off, okay? So the tiger mouth is a really strong connection shape. So you want to keep that in mind, and you want to keep playing those. So this settles the corner. Settle mean black doesn't have to worry too much about it anymore. It's pretty much alive. And so any kind of invasion, it's really easy for black to defend here. So you could connect here, but it does leave some issue later. If white does surround black, maybe there is an eye problem later. But with this tiger mouth move, it prevents the end game, and then it also makes black completely alive. So you definitely want to try to play really strong shapes like this. And again, if white pulls, then you keep doing that, okay? And then if white hane, you got to block to save the corner. And white does have to protect, and then after that, here you can also tiger mouth again, right? And protect that corner. So now we've taken 1 option, 2 option, 3 option away from white. What about if white bumps like this? Now you can expect to see that too. And now, as you may have seen the pattern by now in this episode, black's choice would be to play solid like this, right? So if white does that, then black simply happily takes the corner. If white hanes underneath, black will protect the corner from getting invasion here. And again, white has to protect. White can't play here because then black will capture this stone. So this stone is like in a bad position, so white has to protect it. And then when white protects, instead of the tiger mouth this time, because we're so close to the second line, we're on the second line here, you should play this instead of the tiger mouth, okay? This does the same thing as before, but let me go back to the, okay, remember this one, right? We didn't play Tiger Mouth because if we play Tiger Mouth, it would run us to the edge, and this doesn't give us an eye here, okay? And you need 2 eyes to live. But if we look at the other variation here, the reason why we play a Tiger Mouth here is now when white try to invade here, that gives us 1 more eye in here, and you need 2 eyes to live. And this is on the 3rd line instead of the 2nd line. See the difference? It's a very slight difference, but in Go, 1 line of difference makes a world difference at just 1 line. So as you can see here, instead of playing that, this move is more efficient. Okay? And let's go back and explore the last option here. So this is a very aggressive option here, and you might see it sometime. And so you gotta learn how to defend against this. Now the peaceful way to do it would be, again, just extend your stone. And then white has to extend to build an eye shape, right? And then you can just keep pushing, and then you go back and you jump. The reason why you can jump 4 here is because of your height, the height of your wall, okay? So the rule of thumb is, if your wall is 4, you can jump 4. If the wall is 3, like here, and black wants to jump, then black should jump 3, okay? And your wall is 2, then you should jump 2. You get the hang of it, right? So it's because the higher your stone and the stronger your stone is, you can make a bigger jump and grab more points. But you definitely don't want to like 2 here and then jump like all the way up here. This will leave a lot of weakness to jump for this group, and white can just jump in and invade, okay? So the reason why here we can jump so far is because our wall is really high. If white comes in, we can just push white towards our wall. You see that? So that's the concept. The higher your wall, the farther out you can jump. So the rule of thumb is, if your wall is 4, you can jump 4 space. It's 3, you can jump 3. 2, you can jump 2. If it's just one like this, you can jump 2 also, okay? So as from the last video, you don't want to do this jump most of the time because this is very slow, and it is strong, but it's very slow because you'll fall behind points that way. What if though black play here? So black can play here, okay, when white play here, but this is going to require a little bit of reading, okay? And I'm going to try to keep it real basic and teach you guys at least this combination for you. So if white just overzealously play a really aggressive move, you could go ahead and defend against it. So you can hane here, okay? So in the case when you hane here, white has a few type of response. White could hane again here, and so in this case you would just Atari this stone right here, and then he would have to try to save it. Then you would push here, threaten to capture this, okay? He can Atari you here like this, right? And when you try to save this stone, now he has to go back and protect these 2 stones, okay? So if he play anywhere else, like if he plays here, you would just capture these stones, and then now black has a really big group in the top here, the corner and the side, okay? So white can't play like that. So white can't just Atari you. So what white will do is probably something like this. And then black could play here, and then white could play here, and then black would have to go back and try to capture this stone. Okay, so this is somewhat a fair result for white jumping in, but black is very solid, but white is also pretty solid too. So it's not bad for either side. So, or if you don't want to handle the reading and stuff, you can just Atari this, and then come back and Atari this stone. Okay. So here it's like a trade. So you're trading this stone for this stone. So then white's gonna go back and Atari this stone. So you could take or you could connect. In this case though, it's better to just connect here like this. Because if you take, there is a white option to play a ko here. So now this become a ko, okay? What a ko is when black either has to connect or black can play here, but then white will capture. And then after white capture this, you cannot go back and recapture right away. That's called a ko rule. So you can't repeat the board pretty much, because then that would just make the game go forever. So instead of that, you would have black, the rule is black would have to go somewhere else. So black would have to threaten somewhere else on the board, let's say here, and then if white choose to respond, then black can go back and play here. So now it's white's turn, and white can't capture back either, okay? So white has to play somewhere else. So white have to find a threat, and then, so let's say white play here, and then black does respond, then now white can go back and take the ko, okay? So that's how a ko works. You have to play elsewhere on the board as a threat, make your opponent respond, and then you can come back and take the ko. So it's an alternating turn of taking the stone, okay? So you want to avoid that. So basically, that's why instead of taking, we just go ahead and connect. So now there's no ko. And then now, white has to go back and capture this stone, because if he doesn't, then black will try to escape this stone. So now this stone is captured in a ladder, okay? You cannot escape it, and you should not try to save this stone, because if you try to escape it, white will just Atari you again, and then you try to run this way, and then white will Atari you again, and then you run this way, and then suddenly you're in Atari still, and then you get captured. This is called a ladder. I will illustrate in a moment what a ladder is, but this is basically a concept of the ladder. So black is captured here by a ladder, and so black shouldn't try to save it. So instead, black should just push here and threaten that to play down here, so then makes white capture this stone, okay? And then I would say the result here is not bad for either side, because white does have a nice ponoki here. A ponoki is when you capture one stone and you get a star formation. That is the ponoki. And then they say if a ponoki exists in somewhere near the middle of the board, it's worth 30 points. So it's a lot of points. So the shape is really strong, but the consolation prize is black gets sente. Sente is, that means you get to choose where to play next. So pretty much this corner is resolved, but then now it's black's turn to play, right? So that's really big in Go also. So it's called sente, and you want to keep sente. If you ever play any other game like Hearthstone or chess, that's called tempo. So you want to keep the tempo, and you want to dictate the tempo. It's a huge deal. So keep that in mind, sente. So black can try that. But what if white gets really aggressive? Okay, instead of Hane and instead of playing here, if white plays here, then black would just push down like this, and then now white has to try to escape, okay? White cannot cut. If white cuts, black has a really awesome combination of playing here, down like this to capture these two stones, and there's nothing white can do to save it. If white plays here, try to capture this stone, black will just play a clamp move right here, and then now these stones are capture. They cannot run. So that's why white cannot cut here, because of this descending move here, okay? And if white try to play here, then you simply push here, threaten a double Atari, right? So if white plays here, black would just play here and double Atari to threaten to capture either this stone or this stone, okay? White cannot save both. So if white connects here, black would just capture that and connect his whole group together. If white try to save here, then it capture this stone, and then as with the clamp earlier we play here, black will win the race here, okay? So nothing white can do here to escape. So as white, you definitely don't want to do the double Atari move. So if you push here, and once you push here, black can push here once again, and then white will have to play here once more. And then after that, you can just clamp and capture these stones and get a really big corner and push out to the side. Okay? So, because of that, white cannot cut here. So white has to play Hane underneath. And then when white plays Hane underneath, as black, you can just keep pushing. And so now white gets 6 points in the corner, but blacks get outside influence to use as he please. So the influence is very powerful. It's definitely going to yield more than 6 points. Okay? But now we approach the toughest combination that white can try to do, and that is the crosscut. Okay? So there's a rule, there's a golden saying in Go. Whoever pull back first from the crosscut wins the battle there. Okay? So as black, because black was here first, white jumps in, and then black reinforce first. So it's 2 versus 1. Then when white crosscut is 2 versus 2, but then blacks get to play first, and the first person who gets to reinforce one of his stone wins this race. Okay? So the basic idea here is after this move, white will need to save this stone or this stone. Okay? So let's say if white wants to capture, white cannot capture this stone because black can now run this way and then keep pushing like this. Okay? If, let's go back, if white does something like this, that's not possible because now you can play here, the cut, setting up a double Atari. Okay? So you're threatening white to Atari white here. So if white plays, if white prevents the double Atari, then you just Atari this stone and capture and connect your group, right? So white has to protect here and protect here. So it's not possible to play 2 places at once and go. So let's say if white protects here, all you do is just Atari, double Atari, and then you would capture this and capture the corner. There's a better move than that, but I don't expect you to see it at this level yet. So there's a move here is where you Atari these 2 stones, okay? And then if white connect, then you can Atari again, and white cannot escape. But it's a little hard to see, and I want to keep it simple for you guys. So because here also, white could try to rescue this stone, and then after white does that, these stones are not connected with this per se. So in this version, it's a lot safer because you can capture this, and then now this 2 stone is winning the battle against these 2 stones because these 2 stones are wedged in between a really strong group and 2 stones. So that's why white can't do that. Okay? So the reason why white can't just Hane again like that is because of that, setting up the double Atari. So white has to keep pushing. And here again, white can't do that also because what this threatens is a Atari combination move is black will then cut, and then white would need to protect this stone, right? This stone's in trouble here. So if white protects this stone, what black can do is Atari here and try to capture this stone. If white really wants to rescue this stone, then we can go back and just Atari these 3 stones. And these 3 stones cannot escape now, right? So that's why you can combo up your Atari. So you can Atari one stone and then come back and Atari the other sets of group. Okay? So that's why here white's got to push again. And then after white push again, you can play this Tasuji here. Tasuji is like an elegant move that I guess like attack or defend a group, but it's really elegant. So you would say if you play a really great move, you would call it a Tasuji. So here, a Tasuji to capture these stones. If white plays here, you just connect underneath. And white plays here, you connect. And white can't approach this here, or white cannot play here either, okay? So if white try to escape, white cannot. You can just throw in here like this, white capture, you Atari connects, and then it's dead, okay? It's a pretty simple capturing. This Tasuji is really good. If you can understand this Tasuji, I would say you're about 10Q at least. So if you can find this during your game, it's pretty impressive. But if you can't, you can also capture this way too. Okay? This is also capturing white. So it'll be a race, but black will win. Okay? So I think we have gone over the crosscut. So after this, white would probably sacrifice this one stone here this way. So as you can see, playing this way is bad for white. So instead, white will play this way, and then what black can do is just Atari this stone down like this. This stone cannot escape because it's getting Atari on the second line. So running on the second line is not possible. So black can just pursue it like this and like that. And if white try to escape, it cannot. Okay? So you can Atari. So this is an Atari from here from the second line. So this looks good for black. So now that you know all kinds of defensive play for the 3-4, when you play the 3-4, you kind of know how to handle any kind of weird situation with your 3-4, okay? And so the basic though, usually white is gonna approach from here, okay? And then from here you have a lot of options. You can pull back as the knight as before. If white comes poke in here, you honey underneath. If white cross cut, then white's in trouble, okay? You just capture that. So white cannot cross cut because it's on the second line, here, and then black can just capture these stones. So you don't want to cross cut. So what white would do is like either push here or even play here, but here it's iffy also because black can just Atari and then capture these stones. Okay? So, or even here, black can also pull back here, play the tiger mouth, then white will protect its shapes, and then you can just jump here. And then this, you'll get like about 12 points here with a really nice solid shape. Right? And if you don't want to give up white in the corner, you can kick here. This is called a kick. So you have a stone here, and then you play another stone, and it touches the white stone. That's called a kick. And once black kicks, white will have to defend some sort. The best move for white is to pull up here. And then after that, you can just do a jump. And that solidify the corner. Because if white try to poke in, you can just defend here. Pretty easy. Okay, so you got the corner here. So if you like territory, I would recommend the kick and then the jump. Okay? And I think that's it for now for this episode. So this episode just let you have some basic technique to protect against your 3-4. Oh, and I do want to go over the ladder, okay? So a ladder is when you have something like this, okay? So let's say it is white's turn. So white played this, right? So now if black tried to escape try to play the same thing and mirror white, this stone is captured by ladder, okay? And what by ladder mean is white will just Atari it this way, right? And then if black runs, right? If white play like this, then white fail, and then black escape, okay? So now it has 3 liberties, it's not possible to catch here. But white can play this combination here, then black will try to run this way, then white will play this way, and then you see the pattern here. This is called a ladder because it chains down. And then so black can keep trying to run like this, but eventually black will run out of space and white will capture it, okay? So the ladder, this stone is not needed for the ladder. I'm going to remove it because it eventually it'll run towards the edge. No. Here. Right? So here, the ladder is said to be good for white because it's going to run to the edge and then white's going to capture it, okay? So, as you can see, you can set up a ladder by playing solid like this at the 2 stone. And so, if black tries something like that, then you can capture this stone by the ladder, okay? But you gotta make sure the ladder is good for you, okay? The ladder is good when there's no stone in the way. If there is a stone in the way, and let's say the stone is black, then the ladder is no good for white, okay? So the reason is, I'll play it out for you guys to see. In this case, this is called a ladder breaker because it breaks white's ladder, okay? So, if black tried to escape now, and if white keeps trying to play the ladder out, because this stone here, it's gonna help black. So now, you see white just connect up to the stone, and now black has 3 liberties instead of just 2 at a time. So that's called a ladder breaker. So it breaks a ladder. The reason why breaking a ladder is bad, you play out a broken ladder is bad, is because look how many double Atari it leaves for black, right? So even white connect here, black can double Atari here. Save this stone, he'll capture this stone, okay? Save this stone, he'll capture this stone. Double Atari everywhere. It's really bad. And then if white try to save over here, black can double Atari this way and capture that stone or this stone. So you don't want to play a broken ladder. But if you can catch your opponent in a ladder that's good for you, sometimes that just ends the game, okay? Because at this level, people don't really read the ladder out and they try to escape their stone. And if the ladder is good and they escape their stone, if they can't escape the stone, then that's going to be like 10 to 20 stones usually that's captured. So be on the lookout for a ladder. The simplest setup for a ladder is you pull your 2 stone out like this, and you have 1 cutting stone like this, right? And you have a singular stone here. So if black doesn't do anything to save this stone, then it's going to be capturing the ladder, okay? So watch out for that. And the ladder is real simple, close to the edge also. But I think that's it. That's good enough content for now for this episode 2. And I hope it was very helpful, at least for you guys to start playing your games. And then I think in the next episode, we are going to test out some games at the 20Q and the 15Q level. And I'm going to try to use all the information that we went over, and we're going to play the game and try to win some games. Okay? I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Thanks for the thumbs up in the last video. It shows support, and it shows that there is a need for this type of content for beginners. And I do really enjoy making these episodes, and I hope you guys come back. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode where we are gonna play a game, okay? Peace out.